A black middle school student from Virginia is accusing 3 white boys of pinning her down and cutting off her dreadlocks.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about, briefly about what you're about to read in analyzing the Black Box, bullying and oppression amongst African American youth, and kind of why I wrote the book.
Know this: he's been called the N-word. He's been attacked at school.
The book, it's I came from a standpoint in I wanted people, our people, African Americans, Black people, to understand trauma and the origin of our trauma, our origin story, so to speak.
A big fight, and then I got my head slammed into the water fountain.
So I do go into what trauma is, how it manifests through childhood, through adolescence, through teen, through young adult to adulthood, and things like that.
Where were anybody to protect her?
Where it comes from, the different types of trauma that we experience as African Americans, we don't even really know it until you're actually older, and maybe you're going through some things, and then you reassess, reevaluate. Maybe you're seeing a counselor or therapist or something like that, and you realize that there was some trauma that you sustained and didn't even know it. So, it's being able to recognize trauma in real time.
No child should grow up with low self-confidence, but that's what was happening to a little girl from South LA, all because she was bullied about the color of her skin.
So that's really why I wanted to write it, and as a subset of that, include for us as a people the racism that we see every day in our lives.
And I thought it was really ugly after people were telling me that I was ugly.
And how that affects us, and how that is a form of bullying, can become a form of bullying, or is a form of bullying. And then to equip, whether you're an adult or a kid, but to equip you with the tools to recognize trauma, to recognize bullying, to recognize racism, to understand those things, because it does no good if you don't understand how they manifest throughout your life, and how you and why you make the decisions that you make, or do the things you do, or say the things that you say.
I've been hit, chased, thrown down, and called the N-word several times this year.
And then to develop a plan, you need to have a game plan to combat or to overcome those things, those issues, those traumas, those bullying situations, racism, whatever it may be. You need to be able to overcome those things. So you need to have a plan in place to do that, and then not only to have that plan, but you need to implement it, right? So you need to be able to recognize, you need to be able to understand, you need to be able to develop a plan, and then you need to be able to implement that plan.
What would you have wanted the school to do at that point?
To hear what we're saying, to believe us and say that this shouldn't be happening.
I call it my Rudy technique, and it's all in the book as well. So what I do is I first describe trauma and what it is, and I use, it's not just opinion. This is well documented work from different scholars and doctors in the field. So I describe trauma and what it is. I describe post-traumatic slave syndrome and how bullying plays a part in that, and how that plays a part in bullying. I also go into my background and how all of that trauma manifested in me.
Earlier this fall, Natasha Shakespeare's 13-year-old daughter shared a note she got in school.
That was one that said, "Shut up, I'm gonna rape you in the bathroom."
That note, and another one using a racist slur and goading the young girl to kill herself, were shared on Twitter by the advocacy group Shakespeare reached out to, Parents of Black Children.
So I first describe what trauma is. I then, of course, give you the works with different doctors and things like that to kind of validate that. But I then take you down memory lane with me. I go back to like 1979 all the way up to present day, and some of the decisions and things that I did as a kid all the way up into adulthood that stemmed from that trauma and those things that I experienced as a kid, and why I made those decisions that I made.
A 9-year-old black girl hanged herself after her classmates allegedly bullied her over her friendship with a white family.
So I take you down memory lane. After I take you down memory lane, I then give you resources that as a parent you can use for yourself, or you can use for your kid. So different, you know, whether it's someone to follow on Instagram, whether it's groups you can join, whether it's someone, you know, that you can reach out to. But all of these resources, they specialize specifically in our culture. They specialize specifically in trauma and depression in the Black culture. So I give you all those resources, websites, I give you phone numbers and things like that.
Adams, Mackenzie's mother, told CBS 42 that a group of peers at school didn't like Mackenzie and bullied her relentlessly. According to the grieving mother, her daughter was told things a 9-year-old shouldn't know, leaving her wondering where the other children were learning those things from, and the school failed to intervene, the mother said.
So then after that, so after I describe what trauma is and how it manifests, and then I take you down memory lane, and then I give you all those resources, I help you to develop a game plan. So you can take your game plan, and everyone's situation is unique. So you can take your game plan and then you can implement it in your own life. And that game plan, you know, your game plan might look totally different from a neighbor's game plan or a friend's game plan or a family member's game plan. But I give you the tools to build your own unique game plan so that you can help your kid be equipped for and overcome those challenges as they experience them throughout their lives, so they can avoid some of the pitfalls that you and I had to go through. So I give you that, and then after you get all of that in the book, I have a companion to that, which is an online e-course that will help you, the parent, teach your kids self-defense techniques. There are 20 techniques that you can teach them right in the comfort of your own home to give them that confidence to overcome and deal with bullies. So, you know, that's kind of what analyzing the black box, bullying, and depression amongst African American youth is all about. I really hope that you get something out of it, that you get, you know, some takeaways from it, that you get the resources that you need, and that you can use it as a family resource to help you out in whatever situation that you may be in.
I want there to be a policy where there's no hate speech and bullying in Rockland schools, because it's not, I feel like it's not fair.
Once again, Coach Mitch, and I'll see you on the other side.
So, like, why does this keep happening to me, and like, what have I done to people to make them do this to me?